Good morning and welcome to your Sunday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist, and we have a wonderful card for today. I hope you like it as much as I did. It comes from the Pilgrim Cards deck by Austin Repath, and it's pilgrims in terms of like seekers, those who are walking life's path and discovering its gifts, blessings, mysteries, etc. So, couple of nice deep breaths just to settle in. Good morning, Mara. Welcome. We're just breathing. I was just out walking the dog and it's so incredibly humid out there. Almost felt like I couldn't get a whole breath. So today may be more of an inside day. We'll see. I think the air quality was pretty crappy yesterday too. I'm not sure about today. I'll have to look. So, Pilgrim Card deck, Austin Repath, who I was so enamored with these cards because I think they were published in 2005, and I thought, what kind of a man creates cards like this? So I had to look him up, and he lives in Toronto, if he's still alive. He was in his 80s at the time where I looked the cards up, and he just looked like an interesting person. So our card for today is Precious Vintage. Precious Vintage. And it's talking about us as precious vintage. So some of us being more vintage than others, right? So here's our card. Just settle in and listen with that intuitive part of yourself that loves beautiful language and loves painting pictures with words. Precious vintage. Whether because of the long days on the road or simply because of something that can best be described as grace, you are open and alive in a way you have never been before. Beyond any thought for the days ahead, you find yourself accepting this moment, which rains down the truth of what the journey is about, what our life is about. You see into the mystery of your life, like a crystal goblet, fragile and ever so easily shattered. You not only hold the wine, you shape it. Until one day, no longer afraid that your fragile vessel might be shattered, you realize that you have become the precious vintage. Isn't that cool? I just thought that was so cool. So, first of all, I have to give you my little aside here. Whoever decided to name something that you're going to drink out of that is beautiful, goblet. Just an aside. That's how my brain works. Sorry. But I love that idea of you're seeing into the mystery of life. You've had that sense that you, the vessel, are fragile and easily shattered. But that you hold this life and you shape this life through your perceptions, through your thoughts, through your approach to life day to day. Until you get to that point where you're no longer afraid that this can be smashed. That you've become what you were here to do the earth walk to become. How cool is that? How cool is that? I think one of the things that it does for us is when we're in those difficult parts of our life, those parts that are going to buff the rough edges off, being able to see that as an integral part of the process, not a terrible, horrible, awful thing, but something we endure, something we go through, something we come out the other side more polished, more polished. So I'm going to read it once more just because I love it, and we'll see what you think. Precious vintage. Whether because of the long days on the road, or simply because of something that can best be described as grace, you are open and alive in a way you have never been before. Beyond any thought for the days ahead, you find yourself accepting this moment, which rains down the truth of what the journey is about. You see into the mystery of your life, like a crystal goblet, fragile and ever so easily shattered. You not only hold the wine, you shape it. Until one day, no longer afraid that your fragile vessel might be smashed, you realize that you have become the precious vintage. So what I'd like you to do today is just revel in that sense that you are the precious vintage. You are the life being lived. You're not just living this life, you are this life being lived. And just see how that maybe colors things differently, things that happen during the course of the day, things that you're driving past in your car, things that you're experiencing that are some of them mundane, some of them extra special, all of them magical if you think about it from that perspective. Have an awesome day. See you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.